Question 1. What is the primary function of Azure Monitor? Option A. To manage user identities and access to Azure resources. Option B. To provide a comprehensive native solution for collecting, analyzing, and acting on telemetry data from Azure hybrid and on-premises environments. Option C. To automate the deployment of infrastructure as code using ARM templates. Option D. To secure network traffic between Azure virtual networks and on-premises data centers. The correct answer is, quote, to provide a comprehensive native solution for collecting, analyzing, and acting on telemetry data from Azure, hybrid, and on-premises environments. Here's the explanation. Azure Monitor is described as the comprehensive native monitoring solution providing full observability by collecting, analyzing, and acting on telemetry data. Other options describe Azure AD, ARM templates, and Azure Networking/VPNs respectively. Question 2. You need to collect guest OS performance data, event logs, and custom logs from an Azure virtual machine and stream them to a log analytics workspace. Which component would you primarily configure on the VM? Option A. Diagnostic settings. Option B. Application Insights SDKs. Option C. Azure Monitor Agent, AMA. Option D. Azure Activity Log. The correct answer is Azure Monitor Agent, AMA. Here's the explanation. The Azure Monitor Agent, AMA, or its predecessor, the Log Analytics Agent, MMA, is installed on virtual machines to collect guest OS data, event logs, and custom logs, sending them to a log analytics workspace. Diagnostic settings are for platform logs/metrics. Application Insights SDKs are for application telemetry. An activity log collects control plane events. Question 3. An Azure administrator wants to receive an email notification and trigger an Azure Automation Runbook when the CPU utilization of a virtual machine exceeds 90% for 10 minutes. Which Azure Monitor component is responsible for defining these automated responses? Option A. Metric Explorer. Option B. Log Analytics. Option C. Action Groups. Option D. Workbooks. The correct answer is Action Groups. Here's the explanation. Action Groups are collections of notification preferences and actions, like emails, SMS, webhooks, Azure Functions, Automation Runbooks, that are triggered by an alert rule. Metric Explorer is for visualization, Log Analytics for querying logs, and Workbooks for interactive reports. Question 4. Which of the following best describes the primary role of a log analytics workspace within Azure Monitor? Option A. To store numerical time series data for metrics. Option B. To provide a central, scalable repository for storing, querying, and analyzing log data. Option C. To manage and automate infrastructure deployments using scripts. Option D. To serve as a dedicated firewall for network traffic filtering. The correct answer is to provide a central, scalable repository for storing, querying, and analyzing log data. Here's the explanation. A log analytics workspace is the primary data store for Azure Monitor logs, designed to consolidate, store, query, and analyze operational log data from various sources. Option A describes Azure Monitor metrics. Options C and D describe Azure Automation and Azure Firewall, respectively. Question 5. Which powerful query language is specifically optimized for analyzing log data within a log analytics workspace? Option A. SQL, Structured Query Language. Option B. Python, with Pandas Library. Option C. KQL, Kusto Query Language. Option D. PowerShell. The correct answer is KQL, Kusto Query Language. Here's the explanation. Kusto Query Language, KQL, is a powerful, intuitive, and expressive query language optimized for log data analysis in Azure Log Analytics Workspaces and Azure Data Explorer. While other languages can interact with data, KQL is the native and most efficient way to query logs within the workspace. Question 6. A security team needs to collect security-related logs from Azure Activity Logs, Azure AD Audit Logs, and Windows security events from VMs to perform advanced threat detection and incident management. Which Azure service relies on a log analytics workspace as its backend for this purpose? Option A, Azure Application Insights. Option B, Azure Security Center, Defender for Cloud. Option C, Azure Sentinel. Option D, Azure Data Explorer. The correct answer is Azure Sentinel. Here's the explanation. Azure Sentinel is Microsoft's cloud-native security information and event management (SIEM) and security orchestration, automation, and response (SOAR) solution. It is built on top of a log analytics workspace, using it as its underlying data store for all security-related logs to enable threat detection and incident management. Application Insights is for APM, Security Center for Posture Management, and Data Explorer is the underlying technology, but not the SIEM solution itself. Question 7. Which of the following best describes the primary purpose of Azure metrics within Azure Monitor? Option A, to store detailed textual event records for deep troubleshooting and auditing. Option B, to manage and enforce governance standards across Azure resources using JSON rules. Option C, to provide numerical time series data for understanding the performance, health, and utilization of Azure resources. Option D, to enable real-time chat and collaboration between Azure administrators. The correct answer is to provide numerical time series data for understanding the performance, health, and utilization of Azure resources. Here's the explanation. Azure metrics are defined as numerical time series data points collected at regular intervals, primarily used for performance, health, and utilization insights. Option A describes logs, Option B describes Azure policy, and Option D is incorrect. Question 8. An administrator wants to analyze the CPU usage of a virtual machine scale set, specifically differentiating the CPU usage for each individual VM instance. Which key feature of Azure metrics would enable this granular analysis? Option A, metric namespace. Option B, aggregation. Option C, time grain. Option D, dimensions. The correct answer is dimensions. Here's the explanation. Dimensions are key value pairs that provide additional context to a metric, enabling highly granular analysis and allowing users to slice and dice metric data, such as differentiating CPU usage per VM instance. Question 9. Which statement accurately differentiates Azure metrics from Azure Monitor logs? Option A, metrics are detailed, textual event records, while logs are numerical time series data. Option B, metrics are ideal for trending, alerting, and performance dashboards, while logs are best for deep troubleshooting and auditing. Option C, metrics have a default retention of 365 days, while logs have a default retention of 93 days. Option D, metrics are always free, while logs always incur costs. The correct answer is metrics are ideal for trending, alerting, and performance dashboards, while logs are best for deep troubleshooting and auditing. Here's the explanation. Metrics are numerical time series data, excellent for trending and alerting. Logs are detailed, often textual event records, best for deep troubleshooting. The default retention for both is 93 days. Costs apply to both depending on usage. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.